And in case you missed it, yesterday, they started attacking Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, 23-year-old, bubbly Brett Cooper. She makes the majority of her videos dedicated to pop culture. Yes, she covers things that are, I would say, mainstream politics, nothing too daring, never speaks about Israel. And she did her part, by the way. Zionists wanted her to do her part and encouraged New Yorkers to get out and vote against Mamdani. But it's not enough, of course, because this is a radical ideology. You give them 100%. You even say one critique, and they don't want to break bread with you. They want to destroy you. And that's what they want to do to Brett Cooper, because she watched the totally deranged Tucker is Not MAGA Republican Jewish coalition event, and she agreed with the majority of sensible people that demands to censor speech, to deplatform is not only childish, it's also ineffective. It's also antithetical to what it means to be a conservative. So I'm going to let you listen to what Brett Cooper said about Randy Fine. And let me know if you're just so offended that you think that she needs to be canceled and destroyed. Take a listen to what Brett Cooper said.
Like Randy Fine, if you don't know who he is, he's a representative from Florida. He's the same guy who bragged about not washing his hands after he had a handshake with Netanyahu. He's repeatedly introduced bills to criminalize anti-Semitism, infringing upon free speech. I mean, he obviously, I'm sorry to say, but he obviously cares more about Israel than he does, principles like free speech. So, buddy, like, my advice to you, Randy Fine, is just move to Israel at this point. Like, considering you had to go through anger management classes a few years ago, I genuinely think you would probably be happier if you just moved to Israel. And that's not a dig at him. That's just a fact. It's a nudge of encouragement. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be healthy. I think you would be happier if you just moved to Israel. You could be over there singing songs with Mike Huckabee.
Seems like pretty sound advice. Rather than trying to make this country Israel, why don't you just go live in Israel? And here's what she had to say regarding Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
You are so blinded by your ridiculous, insane hatred of Tucker Carlson that you cannot see how irresponsible and hypocritical you are being. I mean, these tweets from Ted Cruz, I'm going to read you next, are a great example of this. So just a month ago, he tweeted this. He said, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Political violence is a left-wing phenomenon. Enough is enough. We need to shut it down." And then in response to Fuentes and Tucker this week, he tweeted this. "Trump's bombing of the Ayatollah's nuclear facilities made the little Nazi mad. Good." So now you're turning around and you're calling somebody that you don't like a Nazi. You're doing this out of blind rage because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention, and so you have turned around and in response, you are compromising your own values in anger, which is such a dangerous precedent to set. And unfortunately for you guys, yes, the attitudes are changing. So again, it makes sense why this group is incredibly frantic.
She's a voice of Gen Z, so you would think that the good thing to do here would be to listen, to break bread, for someone to reach out and invite her onto a show so they can talk about it, so they can hear their voices.
I love Jewish people. I've worked for Jewish people throughout my entire political career, but I am not going to be beholden to a foreign state that I believe is committing crimes against children simply because I'm friends with Jewish people. It doesn't even make any sense. They're not even Israeli citizens. Those are my fellow American people, and we should be actually on the same team here in demanding sovereignty from this foreign state.
What Australian audiences need to be well aware of before they listen to your critics is the fact that the rules of engagement understood within the ranks of the Australian Defence Force is that if children are at risk, you do not fire. If it's a public school, no matter where the enemy is, if it's a hospital, you do not fire. I've spoken to ADF legal staff and anti-terrorism staff and operatives on this subject, and they would not do what Israel has done. So all of a sudden, you are simply echoing what other defence forces are saying, quietly, not vocally, but very quietly, about what Israel is up to, the IDF is up to, and you are being pilloried for it. I think your criticism about Israel is right.
And I feel the same way, obviously, or I wouldn't have said it. And what's remarkable, which even is more confounding to me, is the fact that Israelis are boycotting Bibi Netanyahu. Israelis want him removed from office. Israelis feel that his response has been disproportionate and wrong. Probably the most powerful Jewish businessman that we have in the United States is a man named Ari Emanuel. Ari Emanuel spoke at the Simon Wiesenthal Center and said Bibi Netanyahu is doing this for Bibi Netanyahu and nobody else. He was not called an anti-Semite. And so, like I said, it leaves a very bad taste in my mouth when these same people who applauded me are now essentially pressing a button and saying, we're going to pretend that she's had some sort of a mental breakdown because she won't come out in support of Israel being just given, I guess, a blanket card to do whatever they want, or else we will smear you as an anti-Semite by taking clips out of context and repurposing them to make it seem like you've said something against all Jews in the world, which is an absolute nonsense.
Of course, why won't they? The least thing you do, you will be show the door. That is it. They want us to go this way. And if you even deviate by a few millimeters, you will be cast out of the group. That is it. You must be for this and not for that. It's either you're inside or you're outside. You can never be in between. That is it. They made it in such a way that it looks like a cord. You have to go along with it. You must go along with it, or else we will cast you out. That is what they do. Even though they have not delivered, even though they have not done what they promised to do, even though they are accountable to us, but for some reason, we must toe the line, we must follow what they say, and we have no right to ask any question. None at all. Not even a single question. No, you cannot ask it. It's too much. You cannot ask it. Like I have said before on this platform, right? There comes a time when people start realizing that things are going horribly wrong, and if something is not done to correct course, we might all find ourselves in a place that we can barely recognize. There comes a time when people realize that enough is enough. Enough is enough. I love the fact that Candace has made it very clear that she is done with Donald Trump. Because if there's one thing that Donald Trump has done is gaslight people. It's promised people this, and when people ask him for what he promised or to deliver on what he promised, he turned around and calls them name. He turned around and slammed them. He turned around and just cast them out. To Donald Trump, loyalty is a one-way street. Everyone should be loyal to him. But he, no. He cannot be loyal to you guys. You guys will take whatever you guys can get. But if you guys try to be disloyal to him, he will crush you. Loyalty is a one-way street as far as Donald Trump is concerned. That is it. That is it. Because when he came in, he was like, I am going to make this country better. I am going to make prices lower. I am going to make the country safe. Has he done any of those things? Are prices low? Can people afford stuff? Is the whole affordability of a thing been given the attention that it needs? Is it? Or he is just picking fight and quarrel with foreign nations? Today he is bombing Iran. Tomorrow he is bombing the Hutu. The next day he is bombing boats nearer to Venezuela or sending ships to Venezuela. The next day he is recalling hundreds of generals to Washington. None of these things are addressing what the American people voted him for. None of it. None at all. Now he is picking a fight with Nigeria about the whole Christian being persecuted by Muslims. And you ask yourself, wasn't Donald Trump the president when Netanyahu was bombing Christians in Gaza? Is Donald Trump not aware that there are Christians in Gaza who are now being starved to the death by Benjamin Netanyahu's policies? Isn't he aware of it? Why has he not done anything to rescue the Christians in Gaza? Why? But he is so in love with the Christians in Nigeria, and he is going to rescue them. Are you sure he's really after the Christians in Nigeria? Are you sure? Maybe he's just after the oil. Nigeria has a lot of oil, right? Nigeria is the largest producer of oil in Africa. I think the fifth in the world. So maybe he's just out for the oil. After all, American politicians believe that oil from all over the world belong to them. So I'm thinking that maybe Donald Trump, rather than facing problems back home, rather than fixing the inflation crisis, rather than fixing the drug epidemic that is raging across American cities, rather than doing all these things, or maybe, I don't know, try to make sure that people can afford houses in their own countries and not be homeless, he will wage a war in Nigeria. Or better still, he will rescue the Christians from the Muslims. Now, listen, I am from Africa, and I know about Nigeria more than most people in the West. The issue in Nigeria has nothing to do with religion. It's about ethnicity. It's an ethnic issue, ethnic crisis. It has nothing to do with religion. Religion is just used as a smokescreen, as it has always been used. The so-called Christian versus Muslim is just a window dressing for a way more larger problem. They have to address the problem in Nigeria. And I think Tinubu has been a very, very ineffective leader as far as addressing these issues in Nigeria. Buhari just totally neglected the issue altogether. He never even tried his best to address it. And I'm guessing it is the same route that Tinubu is taking. Let's just ignore it. Let's not talk about it. It will resolve itself somehow. Yeah, it will. As if that has ever happened before. Let's wait and see. I'm happy for Candace Owens. She is really doing great for herself, and I wish her all the best. And I feel sorry for all those people who think that she is losing it, because when someone is getting close to the truth, people start calling them names. It is not the first time we've seen that, is it?